head men's coach Chris Gould, going to talk about what a great season the men had this year. Coach, last year you guys were in the position to do everything that you did this year. It didn't quite happen last year, and credit to you guys taking that next step this year and getting it all done. What was it in your team that learned from last year and really came through this year?
Well, I think once you get put in those two situations, and you haven't experienced them before, you don't really know how to approach them. And we took two big games and let them slip away last year, and I think that really motivated our guys to understand that in both of those games we had the games. We had the possession, we were playing well, but I mean our season wasn't reflected just in those two games. I think the whole process was a learning process for these guys. We had a lot of transfers, a lot of guys who really didn't understand what this level was about, didn't understand how difficult it was, and I think when we approached this season, it was more of an urgency to the group. They had something to prove to the GSAC, and then they had something to prove to themselves that that they're talented and that they've worked for it and they've earned it, and they have every right to win those games just like every other team. And I thought they did such a great job of exercising the demons, for lack of a better term. That's a tough thing to do, is to be in both those games last year and to be on the wrong side of those results, and then to face that same thing this year and have the confidence and togetherness to come through victorious in both those games. So I'm really proud of the team.
All right, you guys only lost 2 games to NAI schools this year, undefeated at home. That's pretty impressive, especially in soccer. You're ready to go every time out and get the result every time out. Just talk about your team's mindset coming into every game to pick up 19 wins.
Sure. I mean, that's the hard part about soccer, is that it's not always the best team wins, and it's not always the best team on paper. The sport doesn't work that way, and for these guys to carry that momentum throughout the year is actually a reflection of how deep the program is. There would be some days where our very best players maybe weren't ready to perform, and there were guys that were waiting on the bench to come off. They had something to prove, and we're talented enough to be able to do so. And we were just fortunate to have a very humble group that worked hard every day for one another, that loved one another, and put the team and the program before themselves. And I think that was a big reason why this team was so successful this year.
All right, let's talk a little bit about your All-Americans. You have 4 of them this year. Very impressive for a program that only had 9 All-Americans total up to this year. You almost matched it. Just talk about your four All-Americans, specifically Christian and William, and the impact they had in just their 2 short years here.
I mean, their chemistry together is pretty incredible. Some of the stuff that they come up with, at some of the stuff you can't train. It's just instinctive, and they have a really good understanding of what one another is thinking, and that was formed before they came here. We were just able to nurture it, put them in a position to be successful. But again, it comes down to both of them as people. I mean, they really were kind of the heart and soul of this group, and they were selfless. They demanded excellence out of everybody, and for the players that they had around them, it really fit their style. And we were just lucky to have the timing right, to have those types of players and the type of supporting cast around them to be successful. And I'm so proud of those guys, because you can't get to that level without working hard every day, and that's kind of what they did. They worked hard, they demanded a lot out of each other. Even on the training days when nobody's looking, those are the guys that, if a coach isn't looking, they're still working hard. They're still demanding the most out of everybody, and that's what you want.
All right, looking forward to next year in the future. With the performance the last 2 years, you've kind of put Concordia as the soccer power out west now, and you had a lot of younger guys that got action this year, and you're losing a lot of offensive numbers. But just talk about your team going forward for next year. Well,
I think they're going to be hungry. I think that they've tasted what we can do if we work hard, if we put things together. I think that they're obviously going to be looking to win the conference again, win the conference tournament again, and really get at the national tournament. My hope is that, just like in the years prior, where maybe we reached the GSAC final game and then the conference tournament final came out on the wrong result on both of those, hopefully these guys can put the chip on their shoulder and maybe make a really good run at nationals, and understand that they have the ability to do it. We are returning a lot of guys. We lose some key guys. We're bringing in some guys that are going to help foster competition, some talented guys. So it's all there to play for, and it all starts when we come back in February. So I'm excited to see the returning group. I'm excited to see what they can do for the following year.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you. It was a fantastic season. A lot of fun for everyone involved in this program, and thanks for taking some time to wrap it all up today.
Thank you very much.